All right, folks. How's everyone doing today? Got a special guest again. Juan Savin is joining me for the podcast. He's just pulling over on the side of the road, and he'll be joining us shortly. Folks, a lot of stuff going on. Russiagate's breaking, like we said it would. Russiagate comes right after the Epstein dud. Now, a lot of you are upset. A lot of you are disappointed. A lot of you are jumping ship, and I understand it. It's frustrating. But how many of you were frustrated when Trump lost 2020? And looking back, you understand the big picture now. How many of you were frustrated when Trump got arrested? Now looking back, you know why he got arrested, because the boomerang. So all of these chess moves have a bigger move coming. Just because this didn't come out the way you want it to doesn't mean there's not bigger moves coming. And I have a feeling deals are being made, threats are being neutralized, so that the bigger moves can be made. And if you're going to start doing the clickety-clank, the arrests, you got to know, you got to have your ground troops ready, and you got to take out their ground troops. So who's their ground troops? Well, cartels, immigrants that could be activated, just saying. So who's going to be on the ground now? Well, ICE is going to grow exponentially. ICE is going to be like our domestic military. Now, a lot of you are against that. I understand that. Nobody wants to see a police state. But the cure kind of has to be greater than the disease for at least a limited time. Folks, we're going to be cutting the feed from Facebook and X when we start the interview. So when we start the podcast, so just stay with me until then. Or if you want to start getting over to YouTube right now, that's probably the wise decision. Folks, remember, notifications. Hit the notifications button. Hit the like. Hit the share. Help me help you. Also, folks, Venmo, D-Rod1977. I answer a lot of questions there at Venmo, D-Rod1977. When the lights go out. When the lights go out on Amazon, there you go. Then my mama's book, The Mexican Mix. Everyone knows what I'm going through with my family right now. It's been the most difficult, hardest time of my life. That's her book. It's a great memoir about my family. Noble Gold Investments, folks. Noble Gold. Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You got a life to live, right? Your investments should help you live that life. That's why more Americans are choosing gold and silver, by the way. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. We're going back to a gold system, folks. You better get it. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. I got one. Colin Plume helps me. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Freedom and peace of mind delivered 1 ounce at a time, folks. Great people over at Noble Gold. That's the only company I deal with. So we're waiting for Juanito to pop on here. I don't know if he's having trouble, but hopefully not. X is Nino Boxer. Well, when does he not have trouble hopping on, right? It's all the time. He's always got bad reception or glitches or something happening. Anyway, folks, he's up on Nino's Corner.tv, by the way. 107 is up there talking about the Russia collusion. Russiagate is breaking right now. He's on my podcast on Nino's Corner.tv. Daniel Brinkley is up there right now as well. And that's an epic podcast talking about the Epstein list, fizzle, dud. What can we expect? Remember, Daniel is the one that brought the breaking story of the 300,000 missing children. He brought it onto my podcast on Rumble. Daniel Brinkley is the first one that talked about it. PatriotWear.com, always awesome. Yes, Ringside with Nino. That's tomorrow, folks. Ringside with Nino, where we all war game together, and we'll be doing that at 5 p.m. Tomorrow is Thursday. I know a lot of you get confused. It was supposed to be Wednesday. I'm going to go back to Wednesdays after this month just to make it easy on everybody, because my tech guy as well, not Alex, but a different guy, he was confused. He's like, I thought it was today. And I was like, I was trying to help people out that can't make Wednesdays. So after this month, we're going to keep it at Wednesday. So tomorrow is Thursday. That's the Ringside with Nino. So it's going to be pretty damn epic. So 5 p.m. tomorrow. And I got 2 generals tents today. I mean, this month, not today. This month, I got Colonel Towner Watkins coming on July 24th, and Juan Savin will be the general either the 30th or the 31st. So a double header for the general's tent. This is going to be awesome. You're going to see me 4 times this month on Nino's Corner.tv. 2 ringside with Nino's and 2 generals tent. Daniel Brinkley, Juan Savin talking about Russiagate, James Gilland. I having James Gilland on now. This guy. Wow. A ranch in Washington State, he's making constant contact with extraterrestrials. I guess that's how you can say it. But he says the contact that's being made, the disclosure won't be made by the government. It's a spiritual disclosure. It does not happen through big vehicles appearing in the sky over the White House, things like that. That's not how this happens. It's spiritual. The contact is spiritual is what he says, and he's having everyday contact on his ranch. He has amazing videos. James Gilland, that's going to be up on Thursday. I just got to figure out how to get the right thumbnail for this. Also, Larry Ballard, SGN on tomorrow. Jerome Corsi's coming right back on. This is going to be epic. And Benjamin Fulford's coming on again. So we're going to have some fun on Nino's Corner.tv. And without further ado, folks, turn it up or turn it down, baby. Let's go. Coming at you live from the apocalypse, folks. Oh, baby, let's go. All right, so we're waiting for Juanito to get on. In fact, I'm a little concerned right now. So I'm going to give him a phone call, see what the holdup is. It's always something. He's always driving. He's always on the road. So let me give him a call, see what the hell is going on. Alex, he hasn't popped up yet?
Still not yet here in the back. What's up, everybody out there? Oh, here he is.
No, he's on now.
Here he is.
Right. All right, so Juan is on now. We're going to be bringing him up and bringing him on in just a second. Russiagate begins to break, folks. I don't know if you've seen my podcast in the last, I do some Instagram videos, some Facebook videos, but I've always said it's going to break first. And who did I get that from? Well, yes, Juan Savin, of course. But let's think about this first. A gut punch and then a counter punch. That's what's happening right now. So the Epstein list, dud, right? And then the next day, Russiagate breaks. James Comey and John Brennan are now under investigation with the FBI. Right on time, folks. Right on time. So, Juan has said this over and over again. Russiagate breaks first. How many gut punches have we taken before where MAGA lost hope and felt demoralized, down and out? Think about it. Russia was the first. Trump getting the was the second. And I said he would get it. And he'd find alternative cures. The 2020 loss to Joe Biden, everybody lost all hope on that one. Remember that one? How everyone lost all morality and hope, fell apart. It was a very frustrating, trying time, those 4 years. But if you look back at it now, those 4 years had to happen in order to go where we're at right now. Those 40 years had to happen. That was the Great Awakening, right? Those 4 years of just Marxism, totalitarian takeover. It was horrible. Then the Trump arrest. Then at the Trump arrest, everybody lost hope on that one too. Oh, no, he's going to jail for life. They got him this time. Everyone lost hope. Then recently, the Iran war. All of MAGA jumped ship on that one. Trump's a warmonger. And then he brings the peace deal. You know who didn't jump ship? Me. I didn't. And now the Epstein list bomb, or should I say dud. Right? Everyone's upset about this one, but I see bigger moves ahead, folks. I see bigger moves ahead. And after this dud, we all know Epstein didn't self-delete. In fact, the footage they put out there was pretty sloppy. There's 62 seconds missing of this surveillance video. Done on purpose? I don't know. And then drum roll, please. Yeah, no Epstein list. Wait, what? What is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail for then? It makes no sense to me. But folks, I'm telling you, I see Big chess moves being played here. Now, then Benjamin Netanyahu comes out and says, Tel Aviv today, New York tomorrow. See, I take those things as threats. So maybe, just maybe threats are being neutralized. Certain plays need to be made here. Certain deals need to get done. And then you have to also look at Benjamin Netanyahu now saying, oh, I think we should nominate Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. You're feeling pretty good right now, huh, baby? Huh, baby? You're feeling pretty damn good right now. I think, in my opinion, this is all going to backfire on all of them at the right time. The boomerang is still in motion. Tucker Carlson warns Trump could spark a revolution with very dangerous Epstein cover-up. Like I said, a lot of podcasters are going to be going in that lane and going at the speed they want to go. Not me. I'm going to stick this through and say that there's a strategy here. And I'm going to bring Juan on to talk about that. Could they be using the Epstein list for leverage? That's a question I have. Could they be using it for leverage? Do the handlers become the handled? That's what I think is happening. Imagine the leverage you can have on all these people. Very, very powerful people. I would use it to my advantage. You're damn right I would. As a fighter, I can see these things. And folks, I called this one, and I'm going to take a little bit of credit. I'm going to pat myself on the back just a little bit. I know it's annoying for a lot of people, but I'm going to pat myself on the back. I said it's time-stamped on my X just the other day. I said, I don't know what's going to come after this Epstein dud. I don't know. Russiagate breaks. Boom! It broke. Yeah. James Comey and John Brennan under investigation by the FBI. I don't know. Seems to me like the dominoes are about to fall, and I'm sticking with my guns on this one. Let's do an update on the flood. At least 161 people still missing in a single Texas county. Governor says no survivors have been found since Friday in Kerr County, where the worst flooding occurred. Now, I don't know if a lot of you saw, I was there on location, just so happened to be there. I saw trees uprooted. It was insane. Cars turned over. The gas lines were insane at the gas station. I had to wait like 8 cars back. It looked like the end of the world. Yeah, 36 feet in a single hour. Unbelievable, huh, folks? The statewide death toll rose to 111, with at least 173 people unaccounted for. At least 173 people remain missing on the 5th day after devastating flood swept through the Texas Hill Country, Governor Greg Abbott said on Tuesday. Those unaccounted for include 161 in Kerr County, where the worst of the flooding occurred and where local officials said no one has been rescued since Friday. It's really sad, folks. It's really sad what I saw down there, and I saw the carnage. FBI launches in criminal investigations of John Brennan, James Comey, DOJ sources say. Former CIA director John Brennan and former FBI director James Comey are under criminal investigation for potential wrongdoing related to the Trump-Russia probe, including allegedly making false statements to Congress. Justice Department sources told Fox News Digital. Let's bring Juanito on. Juanito, can you hear me, El Juanito?
I can. It's a miracle. I couldn't hear you a moment ago, but I can now.
You made me nervous. Sometimes I feel like you're not going to be able to jump on, or you're going to have glitches like we always do. But you're in a good location, right, Juan?
No, I was there for a long time. I could see it, but it wasn't and all that. But I couldn't hear a thing, and I was debating whether to pop out or in. But I'm here now.
Well, Juanito, you have said many times on my programs and to me personally, hold your horses. Russiagate's going to break first. Sources said that the referral was received and told Fox News Digital that a criminal investigation into Brennan has opened and is underway. DOJ sources declined to provide further details. It is unclear at this point if the investigation spans beyond his alleged false statements to Congress. As for Comey, DOJ sources told Fox News Digital that an investigation into the former director is underway but cannot share details on what specifically is being probed. Now, Juan, you said Russiagate would break first. And just a couple of days ago, I said when the Epstein list dud hit, I said, don't worry, I have a feeling Russiagate's about to pop. And it's on my X, it's time-stamped. So what's your thoughts, Juanito? Here we go. Do the dominoes begin to fall now?
Well, here's the important thing I think that everybody needs to remember. It was just a little under 2 weeks ago that Cash sent over to Senator Grassley in the Senate information concerning that Comey had, he testified something before Congress concerning foreign interference, and said that there was no foreign interference that he detected in the summer of 2020 before the summer election. The fall election. He said there was no signs of foreign interference, nothing. And then days later, it comes out, because you have whistleblowers in the FBI, that you have hundreds of thousands, they only showed 20,000 licenses, driver's license, that were made as counterfeits to allow people to vote in the fall election. They picked those up in Chicago, but there was literally a couple million of them. Okay, they've only discussed the ones that were
election talk here. What do you do?
Well, but all I'm saying is you got to put this in context. This isn't happening in an isolated way. They had information about foreign interference long before we got to fall of 2020. They said there was nothing there then because they got pantsed by people inside of their own, investigative side by disclosing that there was this material. They did everything to cover up on the inside. They told people inside the FBI and the CIA to destroy, not just set aside, not just put in a box, destroy evidence of foreign interference coming into the fall vote. And, I'm trying to choose words here. And so this isn't just going to Russia. Now they're starting to roll over rocks that tie into other things, because what was way before that? Well, 4 years before, 4.5 years before, was these same people's activities cooking up fraudulent information about how, look, if they'll fraud about Trump being working with the Russians, they'll fraud about stuff related to the fall 2020 thing, then they're capable of almost anything. And once in for a penny, in for a pound, these guys had to go higher and higher to keep and maintain what they're in. The one thing that's interesting is the stuff that even came up just this last weekend. Had a bunch of just speakers there like that. I mean, it was off the charts. And plus, we also got to spend time together, which is always important for us. And
Juan, let me ask you this. A lot of people are asking right there. They're saying, Juanito, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, it's glitching up just a little bit.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
A lot of people are saying, if the Epstein list was a dud, what makes us think that the Russiagate's not going to be a dud either?
I think that's a valid question. I don't think personally that's going to be a problem. And by the way, you have to picture these people are in very serious positions. So they can't speculate. All that Cash, Bongino, Pam can do is talk about things that they have in front of them. If somewhere in the system somebody's successfully destroyed certain things, covered it up adequately, they cannot, as officials in those positions, say something that they can't prove. Now, we know that there's just thousands and thousands of hours of video, including underage, what appear to be underage kids. Very obviously appears to be the case. That all the dots aren't finally connected there. One of the things that may very well play into this is other sources. We have another group that's even bigger than anything was Epstein, that's percolating out in the background, that they want a door in, and they've not gotten that yet, because of the Justice Department isn't ready to receive it. They just got the budget passed. They just got to start hiring extra people. They have serious offices in there that had, 150 people last year, and right now they got 10, 12, 14. Now that the budget's passed, they can start bringing those people and start going through some.
So we're setting up basically the domestic military for mass deportations and soon arrests. Basically, the pieces are in order now.
Well, for example, I hesitate to even say it because I'll get people all wound up too much, but there's stuff out there still waiting to be brought in that could suddenly crack open, even back to Epstein, the McAfee stuff and things like that. But they weren't ready to receive it inside Justice Department like that. And then other locations, a completely separate one with more than both of those ever had. So I don't think we're completely done there, but it's a valid question. Is the system going to go all the way with these investigations? And the stuff that's in the public right now that has been sent over to Grassley and things like that, I don't think there's any way to stop what's going on there. And once you start rolling over these rocks, once the will is there to actually do the damage, it just doesn't end. And it's Russia. That's the first one. Proof of concept. You don't want to start with your best stuff and this stuff, and that really is the 2020 stuff, which we have phenomenal stuff there. So, if people want to question, though, I'm not going to throw any stones. You got to keep feet to the fire. Politicians,
right, Juan, let me get to somebody. It says here, meanwhile, the White House wants the Obama-era intelligence officials to be held accountable. All roads lead to Obama. President Trump was right again. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement on Fox News Digital, those who engaged in this political scandal must be held accountable for the fraud they committed against President Trump and the lies they told to the American people. Everything we saw in the last few years was getting ready for this time, this moment, right now, right, Juanito? The chess pieces have to be in order to make the big moves. Was the Epstein list, or is it going to be used to be, I don't know, the handlers now become the handled? Is it going to be used as leverage?
Well, I mean, you got a lot of other stuff, but beyond Epstein, and you've got Hunter's laptop. You've got the McAfee stuff. You've got the one that I haven't mentioned precisely, but is bigger than all of those combined. And by the way, let me raise one other one that we're in here. I think stuff up at what he really did. What really pissed everybody off was that he went into a closet, which was a routing pipeline location for data through the MIT computers, and downloaded materials that were they gave laptops to kids in other countries, specific stuff, and then that was actually being used to route child porn, some of which is in the Epstein stuff, by the way, according to people.
We're doing so good.
Say again?
Yeah, you can't see that.
All right,
hold on. Folks, everybody leave Facebook, leave X right now. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube right now. I'm going to go ahead and do a mid-roll real quick. Let everyone get over there. We're going to finish the conversation on YouTube. I'm doing my best, folks, to keep it clean for YouTube. The science is in, folks. A clinical trial found that just 10 grams of collagen a day for 8 weeks led to a roughly 20% increase in skin hydration and a 17% improvement in elasticity, while also visibility reduced wrinkle depth. If you want to help improve your skin's health, it's clear that collagen is essential, folks. This is why I use the secret magical powder, and I'm obsessed with the results. Multi-collagen provides my skin with 5 types of premium collagen to help attack wrinkles from every angle. I'm seeing smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer fine lines, and a more youthful glow. I don't think I look too bad for my later 40s, actually. Plus, multi-collagen mixes smoothly with my morning coffee or tea. There's no clumping and zero added flavor. Do yourself a big favor and grab yourself a bag of ageless multi-collagen now for 51% off only at Health with Nino, folks. Plus, by ordering today, you'll also receive a free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, a free ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free shipping with your order. Once again, go to Health with Nino, folks. Get started. Get over there. Do it. It's the link down below. All right, Juanito. All right, I hope everyone's now moving over to the YouTube site and get loud in the chat. We're going to read super chats, the whole thing from here on out. But please, I hope everyone's gravitated over to YouTube. Alex, you got the YouTube feed? I mean, the Facebook and X feed? Okay. All right, here we go, Juan. Sorry about that. So, Juan, it says here that Democrats are building resistance labs to sabotage Trump. The deep state is putting together a network of fired bureaucrats to plot rebellions and strikes against the White House. And they're using old CIA tactics to do it. Is that true?
I would say it is. I don't have any direct specific knowledge, but I would say that would be very likely. That, this is life and death now. This is a fight to the death. I mean, I've portrayed it as a bullfight, MAGA versus, everybody else. Bannon said it the other day in a call that I had, and he was talking about the fact that he sees MAGA as the, primary route of resistance moving forward. And of course, that's this bullfight that we're in. It's to the death. There will not be middle ground with those players that went after Trump on Russia, and then colluded with China on the 2020 election. And one of the vectors to take these people out is, now that I can say it because I'm on the back channel, porn, child porn.
We're not on the back channel. We just moved everyone from Facebook and X to YouTube. We're still on YouTube.
Okay. Well, then, I won't say the bad word, but it's so painful to not even have a intelligent adult conversation. It just is.
You're telling me.
What Mel Carmen and group over there is doing with their video and work to get a presidential task force on social media is important work, and everybody should go to that when they release that here shortly.
So, Juan, the DOJ has charged 2 co-conspirators who helped Ryan Ralph in his alleged plot to assassinate Trump. The 2 co-conspirators, Tina Brown Cooper and Ronnie J. Oxidine, were both charged in March and have alleged pled guilty. Is that coming to a head now, too, the assassination attempts on Trump's life? I mean, is this all coming to a head right now?
Well, 13th, there's a video coming out. I think it's very well done. I got to see portions of it while they were working up. The investigation was done using forensic cameras, 360 cameras that we use at crime scenes and murder investigations primarily. And they have put together a very compelling case that there was more than one shooter. Now, the people that they already have that you're talking about aren't admitting to having been shooters. There's still a question, who was in the right location? They've tracked where the bullets came from and could not have come from just one location or from the location where the shooter is that was killed. So there's a lot more work to be done on that. And when that video's out in now 4 days, I think it's going to be epic, because as soon as you know there's more than one shooter, look what happened the other day over the weekend. CIA admitted that Oswald was on the CIA's payroll for a very long time. So if Oswald's on the CIA's payroll in the years preceding the assassination, was in the payroll at the time of the assassination. He said, "Hey, I'm just a patsy. I'm just a patsy." Most people have no news, no knowledge that up in Chicago, before a month before, a month and a half before the assassination, somebody got information into Secret Service that stopped an assassination attempt in Chicago. There was another one supposedly in Florida that was set up but wasn't completed. You could say those were practice, etc. Well, the one that gave the information that stopped the one in Chicago, by many of the people's work that look into the investigative stuff, they believe is in fact Oswald. So he may very well have been trying from the inside to work the problem and pass information, himself not understanding how big this was and how he was being set up as the patsy. And that disclosure over the last weekend, I think everybody has to kind of start, realizing that disclosure is coming. One of the congressmen that I spent quite a bit of time with over the weekend is putting pressure on big time on 9/11 and disclosures there, and getting to the truth of what was really going on. And he was Kurt Weldon. He was pushed out of Congress with a fraud, where they went out and acted like his daughter had some problem and destroyed her life. Went out and broke the door down and took everything out of her house. And then as soon as he lost his election, because people were trying to taint him, then everything came back. None of the boxes were even opened. They'll play any tactic they can. And now it's disclosure time. So let's find out about the stuff coming from other locations beyond Epstein's location. There was much more that was going on in other parts of the world too.
Well, let me ask you this, Juanito. Laura Loomer demands Pam Bondi to resign over the Epstein claims. A lot of people are saying Trump lied. You got Elon Musk claiming that Trump was on the Epstein list. You got Elon Musk claiming that Steve Bannon was on the list. What is Elon Musk becoming a problem child, or is this part of the script?
Elon genuinely is annoyed. I think I don't know that we have time today to dissect that. I've told you privately what's going on there. Short version is he got to where he was at as an op, and with all sorts of support, even into the way that taxes were formed in Congress and all that. Very similar to Zuckerberg, as far as I'm concerned. We'll let history, time, prove out if I'm right or wrong on that. But within that context, there's for anybody over this stuff, that is about as dumbass as it gets. This doing what the president wants done, and is following a particular course forward, and is also not. Look, let's just say it. Pam, she hasn't seen the evidence, and she can't talk publicly about something that she can't prove. She cannot be.
But she said it was on her desk.
Frivolous.
She said the list was on her desk. She said that tens and thousands of videos.
She clarified what she said. She clarified what she said. How many times have you said something, Nino, that you had to kind of add more to at a later time? She says that.
Yeah, but I'm not head of the DOJ. You can't say something like that.
No, hold on. She said that she had all the Epstein stuff in her thing. The list was purportedly in there. She hadn't been through it. The stuff that everybody said was the list when she got into it, there was no list in there. She hadn't read even started to read the file. She just got it, and it's on her desk, and the list is there, and she's gonna release whatever. But let's say that she's screwed up. She's a jerk, and she is trying to cover something up. You think she's doing that all by herself?
Absolutely.
If that was true, is she doing it by herself? No, she isn't. So you're going to make her the bad guy? And by the way, we can
But
go
she
through
did
point
say
by point.
she reviewed the videos, tens and
The
thousands
one,
of videos.
the one person who shouldn't be throwing stones here is Laura Loomer. And I'll just leave it at that. Okay. If you want to get it from other places, that's fine. But let's, I'm not wasting time on that.
Okay, so Laura Loomer, no throwing. She should not be throwing stones, is what you're saying.
Yeah, let's. Whatever. Yeah.
So just the other day, General Flynn comes out and says, Russiagate. We want the name.
And I can amp that up if I have to. I'm not choosing to. Go ahead.
I know you can, and I say we just
let's move on. Got it.
I got you. General Flynn states that the biggest threat to Trump and his administration is from within. Everyone knows that. Was the new
but Nino, okay, this is the place to stop. Think about this. This is the crucial point that is in the background for everything going on here, okay? Let's stop and think about what's happening here. When 2020 happened, there was a report that was required within 45 days after the election based on an executive order concerning foreign interference in 2020. You now have information that verifies that went from Cash to Grassley that there was foreign interference. Then there was an internal cover-up with FBI, CIA, and other agencies to not bring that forward, or to because the executive order says you have to do the investigation prior to and at the time of the 2020 thing, and so and then provide a report within 45 days, and it only goes to foreign interference, not domestic, not the clerks or somebody, truck drivers, whatever, just foreign origin interference. That report never got to the president or Congress or the American people. 3 days before it was due, Radcliffe, who was the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which is the position that Tulsi has now, told media that he probably wasn't going to be able to provide the report on time because agency heads of various intelligence agencies inside Homeland Security were not going to provide him with their reports. Why? And think about that. That's the true insurrection. That is people doing something that that's not their pay grade. Their job isn't to screen that information from getting to the president. They're supposed to provide an interim report concerning foreign interference. They did not. In other words, they made themselves king. They made themselves as though they had the authority to make the decision, as though they had been voted in as president, and they wouldn't cooperate. So if FBI wasn't cooperating then, and CIA wasn't cooperating then, and Comey was lying before Congress was helping block the cohorts, they didn't do it by themselves. They had upper management. And remember, go back to Pat Byrne, my buddy Pat Byrne, who asked him go do what he did to see if Hillary would take a payoff. And then remember, that was upper management. The actual officers, FBI officers that were handling him, they were frustrated because the decisions were made at way higher levels, all the way to the Oval Office. So the problem is, from the time that occurred in 2020, and before, by the way, from the time that occurred, have those people, even though they may not be out of power, or they're out of power in those offices, have the people who aided and assisted down through the ranks been weeded out? No, they have not. So even right now, I can tell you behind the scenes, even right now, there is huge angst with certain things going on, where behind the scenes it's being blocked by people in the FBI, people in the CIA, and other intelligence agencies within Homeland Security. That hasn't fully gone away. You're going to have to cut out the cancer. And so in this moment, as now you're going after these agency heads, you're going to start digging deeper into the people who assisted them and cooperated in blocking the information that was supposed to go to President Trump and to the people. And if you remember, everything leading up to January 6th, when the agencies were blocking Trump from knowing if there was foreign interference, which, by the way, if there's foreign interference, which there is, from China, and we have the guys here on U.S. soil right now, giving information to Tulsi Gabbard, all the agency operatives inside Homeland Security, et cetera, and the president. If there's foreign interference and these guys were blocking it, that's treason. So it may start at the Justice Department. Everybody knows that. The question is, does it go beyond Justice Department over to military, because there's treason and tribunals? And I'm telling you, that's exactly where it's going. It's the only way this can actually be properly adjudicated. There isn't the ability to do so in the Justice Department. In these particular matters, it's not appropriate, and that's where we're going. Foreign interference, China was behind it, Cuba assisted, Venezuelans were the ones that actually did it and cooperated over in Serbia.
Okay.
And the sleeper that we hadn't talked about up till this moment in time is Iran. And by the way, we got so much background information, even in the last few days, connecting
Juan,
dots.
save that for .tv.
All right.
Michael Flynn has dropped a memo demanding Trump administration make arrests in Russiagate treason scandal. We the people are fed up. Michael Flynn just started coming out, saying a lot of this stuff recently. Our former national security advisor and decorated U.S. Army general released a scathing memorandum directed at the Trump administration, igniting new calls for accountability for the biggest political scandal in modern U.S. history. But you've been saying this for the last. You've been saying this is going to drop. It's going to drop this year. Could we expect to see arrests in the coming months?
Well, that's why a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I guess, week and a half, I released the 2025 coin, our first coin for 2025, and that's the Gitmo coin. Why? Because this is about Gitmo. Now you're getting set up for Gitmo. All the coins tell a story. And I'm not kidding. It's 2025 Gitmo. The first arrests related to foreign, the whole foreign interference thing. Remember, it was my buddy Mac Warner that put the letter out as Secretary of State out there in Virginia, who's now at the Justice Department. He's the one that put the letter out, open letter, requesting that the people involved in the Russia stuff and the Biden laptop stuff and all that lose their security clearances. And that's exactly, they all had their security clearances that 51 3x7 tried to people from learning about the going on. Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, while FBI people, again, back to FBI, knew for a absolute total 1 trillion% fact it was not Russia involved in the Biden laptop. Okay. And by the way, just for refreshers, go all the way back to WikiLeaks. I spent time with the attorneys for Assange over in Spain the other day. And we had very interesting conversations.
Well, that's why you were in Spain.
Well, again, because WikiLeaks, remember, it was said that the Russians.
Let's take this to Nino'sCorner.tv. This is getting way too hot for YouTube. I may have to remove this. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is.
Gitmo 2025.
All right. You want to stay with me?
It's not over yet.
You want to stay with me while I read some articles here, Juanito?
Sure, go ahead.
After 20 years, TSA quietly ends shoe removal rule, effective immediately. For 2 decades, they made you walk barefoot in filthy airports like your sneakers were a threat to national security. Now it's gone. no pre-check, no real ID. Everyone keeps their shoes on. So what's changed? Why now? They spent 20 years treating your Nikes like bombs, and now it's just never mind. TSA. So now they're removing this. This is good news to me. I hate removing my shoes at the airport. I don't know how people feel about this, but thank God that you get to keep your shoes on.
It's hard to go through the airport in my boots. It's hard.
Oh gosh, I can imagine that. Yeah, so finally we get to keep our shoes on.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Are they going to start releasing? Are they going to start getting more lenient at the airports, Juanito?
Well, they actually have other detection systems, so it's not going to be the same problem. But I understand that. Look, the shoe bomber kid, who was somebody's operative himself, that was real, whether you understand it completely or not. So I'd rather be safe than not. But today with the detection stuff, no sweat. You can go all over the place, and they got the right stuff. So yeah.
Juan, I'm going to take some super chats in just a moment. Everyone get your super chats ready. I'll ask Juan the questions. Also in border news, 10 individuals have just been arrested and charged with attempted murder for a planned ambush of ICE agents in Alvarado, Texas. Iconic city is grinding to a halt as ICE raids send its many migrant workers into hiding. So a lot of people in LA, a lot of people in different cities. I've been watching this on YouTube, Juanito. These cities look like ghost towns now, a lot of them. I mean, was there that many illegal immigrants? There have to be over 30, 40, 50 million, obviously, because from these videos, from what I'm watching in these videos, Juanito, there are absolutely nobody on the streets. Nobody's on the streets. I mean, this is going to hurt the economy.
Think of my friend that I mentioned to this audience. We had conversations. He asked me what I thought. I gave him my thought to get ahead of all of this. It made sense. And he, I didn't know he wasn't here legally. Crap, I've been doing business with him for 20 years. I knew he didn't speak English great, but it wasn't horrible. And he had relatives who were doing work on one of my farms that I knew were in fact legal. They're the only ones that stayed. They'd gone through the whole process. And but here this guy was doing automotive work for me. Turns out he's illegal. I talked with him about it. I says, look, you get caught here, you never get to come back, and your kids don't either. Take them all. You got property down in Mexico you've been building out for decades with this U.S. money. Go home. And then go through the process and get to come back. Don't make them deport you. And he packs up like 21 or 23 of his kids and grandkids and everybody and takes them out of the country. He recommends all the other family members that haven't done that legally yet, just go. And he offers a place for them to go. He did that. I guarantee you as time goes on, in fact, he sent me a message through one of the relatives the other day. For the
Juanito, you're cutting out.
Hope that somehow it's going to be like Reagan, where they just stick around long enough and this gets changed. This is not the same. We're not playing that game.
All right, so I don't know what just happened. He cut out. Obviously, this happens quite a bit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just move on here with the show because unless he jumps back on, he might jump back on. Did we lose contact, Alex? Obviously.
Yeah, it dropped out. I think he'll probably jump back on, and we'll see if we can still do the super chats then. Okay. We'll proceed with the articles of a couple of these.
Let's just Let's just proceed the morning show. He'll probably jump right back on, folks. Sorry about that. I mean, folks, I try to keep it clean for FluffTube. It's a different game here. It's just a different game. The fact that I even bring him on, you all should be happy about that I even risked to bring him on, which, reading from the chats here, this may be the last one with Juanito on YouTube because obviously you guys don't appreciate it. So I'm just going to do what I do. Bystanders confront federal immigration agents as they descend on MacArthur Park. That's going to be the next question I asked Juanito was, it looks to me like immigrants are starting to band together to fight against the Border Patrol and the ICE agents. And this being said, that could be a potential civil unrest or civil war. They're not going to cooperate, folks. I'm telling you this right now. I'm on a border town. They feel like this is their home as much as it does to you. And they feel that. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm with, if you're here illegally, that's a problem. You got to fix that. But it seems to me like they're going to start banding together, uniting, and fighting against the Border Patrol and ICE agents. A lot of them are not leaving. Most of them, I'll say most of them, are not leaving. Is Juan back on, Alex? All right, Juanito, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I've got full bars, so I don't know what the issue is.
All right, Juanito. So it seems a lot of the immigrants, a lot of the immigrants are they're not leaving, Juan. They're not self-deporting. I mean, maybe some are, the ones that want to come in here, right? But a lot of people have been living here for 10, 15, 20 years, 25 years. They're not leaving. Their families are here, and they're banding together.
No, that's false. That's false.
No,
My guy had been here for 20 years.
No.
And that doesn't mean they're all doing it.
No, they're not.
It means that a significant portion, if they haven't already left, they're trying to make arrangements. It's not easy to pick up and, go home. Where do you go? You haven't been there for 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, some people have a beachhead somewhere, some don't.
Juan, let me just say this. I live on the border, and the word I'm getting is nobody's leaving.
Okay, well, that might be the word you're getting, but they're not leaving through a tunnel, and they're not going over the river. They're going home on an airplane. Again, it's a significant portion. Let's say, Nino, that we knock it down by 10% that decide to go home. That means that we have more assets available for everything else, and it takes time. It has to become real. They're hiding out to a great extent, but as any con knows, you can only do it so long, and then you got to do something to get food, supplies, gets cold outside, whatever. We're turning down the thumb screws on this. At the point that it goes to some other level, probably justified by some series of events, we'll be dealing with a smaller number. Even that 10, 15, 20% is a huge number and helpful. And also those people that leave that way, they are then able to apply to come back in the country, and we're going to bring them back. We have to backfill the people. We just need them to come in legally so that they're screened, so we get the true bad guys out. And once let me just add this, Dino, this is a very important point. Once those people that are here begin to see that some of the people that left and started the process over get to come back, it will help them to make this decision also. This isn't a 1 day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year process. This is going to be going on for the whole time of the Trump administration. So it's not over, and doing it in a methodical way and giving people a little bit of room to get their affairs in order and get the fuck out and come back in legally is not wrong. We don't want to blow the ship up.
What about
We're not
Trump's
trying to totally destroy everybody's life. This isn't, mayhem everywhere. The way that some of the opponents of Trump would like to portray it is he's this megalomaniac that doesn't care about all the lives he's affecting. Excuse me. He does care, and he cares about American first and these people who want to come and be Americans, but do it the right way. When they're here illegally, they're handicapped for their entire life, looking over their shoulder. Go through the process legally. We want you back under the right circumstances.
What about the amnesty? What about the amnesty for farm workers and hotel workers?
Okay, so let's talk about that. You see that the amnesty, what it really is, it's giving them a chance to get a proper authority to be here, declare who they are, because they do essential work. I'm telling you, Nino, a lot of these people are absolutely exactly who we want as fellow citizens. We honestly do. Or many of them, the way it was before all this drama happened back in the 50s and 60s, was that farm workers would come up from Mexico. They'd work the crops, several different crops, and then they'd go back home. They didn't want to be here. They don't want to be here all year. They made fat money up here, pretty good, fairly decent situation. They went back home with the comparatively large amounts of money and built out their farm and bought property and took care of their family. And there was nothing wrong with that. We wanted them. It was people that wanted this problem today who attacked that, who didn't understand the value of these people within the farm economy. We had a John Deere and to be here $150,000. And as it turned out, the deal that we got to go get it fixed there for about $6,000 with a guarantee by official John Deere trained technicians. And it's gone for 3 months. We'll get it back, and it's it's got a warranty. It's got everything. Well, it works both ways. We couldn't do it here for various reasons. Some of those people who got trained here are going to do it down there. They're going to find out they got a better deal down there. And we're going to do trade. We're going to do business. We're going to work with these people. We have to. But they're going to come through the door legally so we can screen and know who's coming through the front door. Years ago, we had a bunch of Iranians that came in through Venezuela, by the way, who came across the border with all the other stuff, and they were going to kill the Saudi ambassador in Washington, D.C. They're going to, have a big event and kill him right there in Washington, D.C. in a public space. They came right over the border with everybody else in the cover of that. You can't allow that to happen. Now the border's essentially nobody's coming through. You send a bunch of Iranians over to Venezuela and want to bring them up, probably wouldn't get over the border that easy. And we're nipping stuff in the butt up in Canada too, by the way.
Let me take some super chats from the audience. They have questions to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to go with the first super chat here. Isby, any news on North American Union, Canadian soldiers here? Worried about commies. Love you, Juan and Nino.
I kind of have some information there, but I don't think mine is, I'm probably not the guy to ask on that for the moment.
All right, Mary, Eyes of an Angel, Epstein, P. Diddy, FBI are chum on the hook, squirming in pain. Bait for the bigger catch. The jaws of justice will rip these demons into pieces. You agree that, Juanito?
It's, juries can be fickle, okay? And, but I think this jury, if you look at it with the way things were presented, I'm not going to throw any stones at this jury. There was things that were not presented in a way that the jury could come to the final conclusion. And, look at who the prosecutor was. So, sitting on a jury, that's a big deal. And I think they took it very seriously. And, is he done? Is there other stuff that might come? Yeah, I think there is. But even there, he's, that whole thing is a problem. There's some horrors in there, but the people involved, unlike, they may have been intimidated. They may have been cooperative to get, fame, movies, money, whatever. It's not quite the same as some of the other issues that we're dealing with. Again, going back to Aaron Schwartz and what he had and the collusion into three-letter agencies who knew exactly what was going on into the MIT system and then going out from there, including over to England like that. As we get into these things deeper, even a name that people don't want to think about right now very much, they've forgotten about, but McAfee, and then the other ones that haven't hit the press yet. I don't think it hits till next year. And I've talked to some of the principals, and I got to have time to go down and meet with them and go through it more. But they want to give to the Justice Department, on steroids, stuff that's far more in depth and complex than Epstein or some of these other things. And they haven't had a vector that they could get it in yet. They will. It's coming. But again, the Trump administration isn't ready for it yet. We're just getting our sea legs right now.
Okay, so Juan, the next one, Jamie R. Can you or Juan lead a prayer for the flood victims, their families, and rescue teams? Love you both, and thanks for all you do. Yeah, we'll do that at the end of the show. Is that okay, Juanito?
Yeah, it is, and that is a tough one. And let's talk about the weather control. But go ahead.
All right, next one, Nancy. In this administration, is the administration using the Epstein list as the leverage to get things done? Seems like many things are getting done and done fast. Thank you, Nino and Juan.
Well, these things, as far as where we're at, what's going on the public side, what's going on behind the scenes, some of them are intentional distractions. Watch here, while other things are happening at light speed. Some of the stuff going on in the Mideast right now, while you were watching over here, has been epic and very favorable to the U.S. and in toning things down. And by the way, reining in what Israel has been doing and starting to shut some of those things down. So I think, you'll wake up. You probably won't really know all the details. You'll catch a blip here, blip there. But because it wasn't pushed by the press or it wasn't what you wanted to hear or thought you were going to hear, it won't get a lot of attention. But I'm just telling you that what Trump's doing and what the people under Trump's instruction that he are doing, they're clearing things off the table that could be distractions as we move into the prosecution of the traitors within at these agencies that are controlling America, starting with Homeland Security. And by the way, we will get to SES. 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 We will get to SES.
Okay.
Those pieces of shit are going down. They will lose power.
Susan Shat, thanks Nino and Juan, saying prayers for your strength and endurance, Nino. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you big time for that one. Leslie, Kavanaugh, I don't know. Thank you so much, Leslie. Susan Diane, where's Clapper? In his cage at the spa singing like a canary. Thanks for all you do.
Well, again, there's a lot of people that know that this is going to get to them. The sooner they decide to try to be cooperative on what they know. Let me just add this. This weekend, I was talking with a person that had a pretty notable history in the three-letter agency. And he described how it started by degrees, and he thought he was on the right side of stuff and certain things that he did and kind of working through an issue and cooperating, and that he regrets that now. He should have been far more black and white. And because he kind of worked on a couple of things here and there to move things along on some stuff, he became then kind of a go-to trusted ally. And all of a sudden he wakes up, and now he's on the wrong side of history. And so he wants to explain himself and sort himself out. Well, some of the stuff might be explainable, and some of the stuff is going to be hard to explain. Look, I'm sorry, but the sooner that you decide to, get into this, it probably makes it better. It's like the guy's leaving the country, going to Mexico, take his whole family. Better.
Let me read the last news segment here and get some more questions from the audience. In what the fuck news? This is crazy. ICE agents on horseback storm SoCal kids summer camp as families flee in terror. The raids kicked off at about 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as armed, unidentified agents in armored vehicles and on horseback. Don't tell me they had lassos. On on horseback moved into the area, sending many people fleeing. Heavily armed immigrations and custom enforcement ICE agents and National Guard troops descended on MacArthur Park in Los Angeles Monday morning while a children's summer camp was going on, forcing counselors to rush the children inside, sparking fear and chaos throughout the community. The neighborhood is home to a large immigrant population, but agents largely left empty-handed as swarms of community members rushed to defend the neighbors' kids. The rage kicked off at about 11:30 a.m. I mean, okay, so Juanita, let me ask you this. They know the big communities where the illegals are. I mean, obviously, if you go to El Paso, that's probably more population. How do they plan to get all these immigrants out, especially if the immigrants are choosing not to leave? Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of them have homes here, car loans. They have families here that are rooted in here now. I don't see how they're going to leave. A lot of them want to stay here and just tough it out. How?
Okay.
Can you hear me? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
Are they going to go back until they get all these people?
Someone left the cake out. No, someone left the cake out in the rain. This green icing melting down, flowing down. MacArthur's Park is a great location. It's actually a beautiful spot. Part of the deal here, Nino, is what I've been saying all the way along. You're putting the pressure on and making sure that everybody knows that this isn't going away. And even if, again, going through on horseback, actually there's a certain genius to that. Anybody that's been on foot going up against a rider on a horse, that's pretty intimidating. But what's the deal? And by the way, unidentified people, bullshit. The people on horseback and their vests and like that's kind of tainted news reporting. Okay, all the guys with the guns and everything, we don't know who they were. Oh, really? And I'll bet you every last one of them had visible ID on them of some type. Okay, or the horse that they were riding on. So that's just tainted reporting. Okay, everybody hearing this should realize somebody was trying to cook you and the way you hear things, the propaganda to make you side with the poor immigrants. There's the new Superman movie, Hollywood doing what it does. The new Superman movie is all about protecting the immigrants that are illegal in the United States. And the director's out there.
I got terrible reviews, by the way. Yeah, they're saying that the director said Superman's an immigrant.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
There you go. Well, again, so you're being worked, propagandized at every level. Take a breath. Got to slow down and think about it. Look, we're not saying, and it has to be said over and over and over again. We're not saying that nobody can come to America. We love, America is made up of immigrants. You got to come through the front door, and you got to make it sting enough for those that didn't and those that helped facilitate it, that it will never happen again. You want to come here? We want you.
Let me ask you,
yeah.
Let's say these guys storm the park and they're on their horses and they grab children. I mean, that's kind of like kidnapping to me, right? They're taking the children
yeah.
Hold on.
So they're grabbing them off the horse's saddle, tying them over, franking the.
No. Hold on. So they get the children, right? Do they deport the children without the parents? How do they do this? Do they keep the children?
They've got pretty good controls on that. This isn't the Biden administration.
So do they get the children in a center and then they call the parents and say, "Hey, you're illegal. You got to deport with your children"? I mean, how do they do?
Hold on a second. We have to make sure that the children that we're picking up actually are the children of the people that purport they're the parents. That's part of the big problem. They were allowing kids to come over the border with obvious cartel trafficking people as though they were the relative, friend, brother, whatever. I have one of the doctors that worked in the clinics on this down in Texas, and she went to every extreme to try to report, especially with one particular young girl that the person who supposedly is her brother is not the brother. She's being trafficked. And they had lots of them. But in this one particular case, which was one of dozens and dozens, look, this is a medical doctor who had done the work, and the girl was scared to death. But she also was concerned about her family back home. I believe she was out of Honduras. That's why all of them have cell phones. They're being tracked, and their relatives are being tracked. Anybody blows it anywhere in the system, somebody loses a hand, somebody loses their head, and it sends a message. They're scared to death. So, if we're picking up kids, we may very well have got a few that you think are just poor innocent kids that actually are and could be being trafficked. Let the real parents show up, prove it that they are the parents, and then let's figure out what we got to do.
Juanito, we had a hell of a podcast on enoscorner.tv. Do you want to say a prayer as we end the segment? Can you hear me, Juanito?
Yep.
Yeah,
you were glitching a little bit. I don't know why. I've got perfect. Yeah.
You want to close out with a prayer?
Sure. Father God, life is precious. We're thankful for every moment, every day, every hour. And we realize that without any warning, any one of us here in this audience, this could be our last day, our last hours, our last week. And events like this in Texas remind us of that. We pray for your grace, your protection, your blessing on all the members of this audience who do have a heart to see justice done, to live in a place where truth is spoken, where righteousness is practiced. We pray for our leadership, President Trump, and all of the people that are in there with him, that they would act wisely and that they would, at every opportunity, be able to convey to us what they're doing so that we can have peace and faith in the direction things are going, and that your hand ultimately is behind every leader, that those in power are only there by your grace, as President Trump has identified even after the shot. We pray for the families of those that have died, those that are left here in this world, that you would give them grace and peace concerning their loved ones, and that you would help them to know how to move forward in light of what events have happened, and to continue with life in this world until they get to meet their loved ones in the next. We pray that you would work in the hearts and minds of our leadership also concerning what's happening with weather control, with these directed energy programs, where there is misuse, where there is chaos and disaster, to try and herd the American people and other populations to these people's agenda, globalist agenda, that you would put just the right people in just the right places with just the right information to be able to thwart the evil while protecting the important good side of these operations. We pray that the people who would whistleblow, who would come out, would have just the right people to reach out to, just the right legal mechanisms to reach out, and that there would be someone on the other end of the line to begin to coordinate that information to bring justice, so that we're not easily victims of things that are so far out of our control, and in these wars that are taking place in plain sight, but by hands that are just behind the scenes. We pray for your divine protection and assistance in regaining control of the helm of the ship of state of America. And then as we get control of our ship of state, that we would have wisdom and assistance, divine assistance from you, Father God, to go out and help people across the world who are similarly in the grip of monsters, and to bring peace back to this world that you gave us, and justice and righteousness, goodness, according to your will, Father God. Pray all of this in Jesus' name. By the blood of Christ, make it so. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Juanito. Juan, I'll call you later on today. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
Folks, people can see me dying 1,000 deaths whenever I bring Juan on, and I just, it's tough. But he's so full of so much information, folks. Russiagate's breaking. That's what's happening right now. Russiagate is breaking. Alex, are you there?
I'm here, Nino.
What do you think?
Always a good show with Juan, man. Always a good show. And yeah, good insight. It's just really and a great prayer at the end, though.
I mean, I try to do what I can do. I know a lot of people get frustrated with me, and I'll be the first to admit it, folks. I know you get frustrated with me. I understand it, but I'm trying to protect the channel, and the only way I can get the message out is if I have a channel. So people need to understand this. And I'm taking big risks on YT doing this stuff. So I hope people understand that. I'm just trying to do what I can do. A better podcast is on ninoscorner.tv. Obviously, we have Ringside with Nino tomorrow, where I'll be talking about Russiagate, the Epstein list, the things that I've heard from Daniel and Brinkley, Juanito, others regarding the list, how that's playing out, how they're going to use the list. Maybe I'll even say some names that I know that are on it. But folks, that's on Ringside with Nino on ninoscorner.tv. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I'll be back here Friday with another great show. Folks, here we go. It's on this summer. Russiagate has broken. Pay close attention to this. This is very big. Russiagate. This is where it all starts. Now, I know a lot of you are hating on Cass Patel. A lot of you are hating on Pam Bondi. A lot of you are hating on Dan Bongino, but just try to look at the bigger picture here. Certain moves had to be made. Alex, thanks for joining me, man. I'll see you. We might do another show tonight, tomorrow. We never know.
Yeah, sounds good. Just let me know, Nino. All right. I'll see you next
folks.
time.
And the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and Black Sheep of Broadcasting, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Please share, like, and subscribe. God bless. Thank you.